My name's Josh Kidlin. I'll be your instructor for this Cisco Jabber in the Real World video series. In this module, we're going to give a basic course introduction and talk about architecture of Cisco's on-premise presence solutions. Now, boy, isn't that a tongue twister of a mouthful of phrase, on-premise presence solutions. So you're going to hear me refer to it as Cisco Presence, just so that I'm not fumbling over my words too often. And we'll try to keep the tongue twisters to a minimum. So let's get started. So what is this course all about? I want to talk about doing practical deployments of Cisco Presence using the Jabber for Windows desktop software application. So presence with Cisco can mean a lot of different things. You've got native presence within Call Manager. You've got cloud-based presence using WebEx Messenger services, also using the Jabber client. And you have on-premise presence using the Cisco Unified Presence Server or the Cisco IM and Presence Server. The nomenclature has changed depending on what version of software that you're referring to. But we're going to talk about how to kick the tires, how to set up the things you need to set up, and how to get this working. Now, we're going to start with an architectural overview, and I'm going to talk about each of the components that are necessary and play into an overall presence solution. Ultimately, through this course, we're going to perform a walkthrough installation and configuration of on-premise presence with Jabber for Windows so that you can understand how to set up the things that are important and skip over the things that are not. We're going to assume and discuss typical design strategies. So rather than giving you a list of 20 or 30 different options, we're going to talk about the ones that are most used and go with a more traditional deployment approach. We're going to leverage industry best practices, and it's kind of hard to say that because presence is still so new that these best practices are still kind of evolving and developing from install to install. So I'll talk to you about some of the techniques that I use, some of the things that I've learned, and some of the rules that I apply in my designs. And we're going to approach this all with a learn by doing technique. So we're going to talk about it, we're going to implement it, and you're going to be able to walk away from this course understanding at least one method or one style of deployment that you can utilize without having to learn each of the underlying technology options in great detail. So who should take this course? I am targeting the learner to be a system administrator who is currently responsible and understands Cisco Unified Communications Manager operations and support. You need to understand Call Manager. Presence is based around Call Manager technologies and Call Manager techniques. And if you don't have a good knowledge base in that area, you're going to struggle with some of the other pieces here. You also need to have a basic understanding of presence technology. What is presence? What does it mean? What types of features and capabilities can the Cisco Presence solution offer me? And someone who wants to get up and running quickly, if you're here to learn about each and every provisioning option of Cisco Presence, then that's not the target of this course. I want to show you a turnkey approach to get up and running quickly using some of the most common techniques. You will find out that there are lots of different ways to vary the installation process. There are lots of different designs you can leverage, and I'm not going to be covering that here. I'm going to cover one basic and what I'll call a typical deployment scenario. So with that introduction, I think I've painted a picture of what I hope to achieve throughout this course, and let's jump right in and let's get started. And we'll start by talking about solution architecture.